In the previous episode, Ben successfully escaped from Dr. Faber's secret laboratory with Ogden's help. At the same time, Silvermane and his group uncovered the truth about the victims of the German experiments, who had died as a result of genetic mutations. Before the laboratory burned down, Ben managed to escape with an antidote that might be able to save the mutants. Now, Ben must face the biggest dilemma of his life after obtaining a cure that can remove his superpowers and turn him back into a normal human being. Meanwhile, Silvermane continues carrying out his plan to take control of New York through political influence and financial power. On the other side, Flint and Dirk Layden are assigned a new mission by Silvermane. The two of them terrorize Alfred's campaign headquarters. Through threats and violence, Flint and Layden successfully steal Alfred's campaign funds. It turns out that Silvermane intends to use the stolen money to buy the people's votes and ensure the victory of a mayoral candidate under his control. As time passes, Janet decides to take over the management of Ben's investigation business after learning that her boss is about to leave New York City. Amid her new responsibilities, Janet is approached by Kat, who is deeply worried. Kat has found evidence that Ben canceled his plans to leave the city, but has now disappeared without a trace. Concerned for Ben's safety, Janet immediately contacts Robbie and asks the journalist to help search for him. Meanwhile, Ben is resting at a bar while chatting with the owner of the establishment. From their conversation, it becomes clear that Ben is still deeply disappointed with Kat for revealing his secret identity as the Spider to Faber. In addition, he continues to struggle with the decision of whether he should use the antidote and return to being an ordinary human or remain a superhero. Not long afterward, a group of rough-looking men enters the bar. From their conversation, Ben learns that Silvermane's faction was responsible for stealing Alfred's campaign funds. What angers Ben even more is that these men also mock the Spider, calling him a useless hero for failing to stop the robbery. After confronting the group of men, Ben left the bar to put on the Spider costume without anyone noticing. Shortly afterward, he returned and beat up the group as punishment for their actions. A few minutes later, Robbie arrived at the scene and found Ben after he had finished the fight. When Robbie discovered that Ben was still carrying the antidote, he immediately took it away. He did not want Ben to lose his superpowers and stop being the Spider. However, Ben made no attempt to take the antidote back because he was still struggling with doubt. Afterward, Robbie had a heartfelt conversation with Ben. Robbie revealed that when Ben had previously stopped being the Spider, he lost his job as a full-time journalist at the Daily Bugle because he no longer had exclusive photos of the hero. More importantly, Robbie insisted that being the Spider was the only way for Ben to make up for the guilt he had carried ever since Ruby's death. Even so, none of Robbie's advice was able to change Ben's decision. Not long afterward, Ben returned to his office. While drunk, Ben accidentally revealed his secret identity as the Spider in front of Janet. Fortunately, Janet agreed to keep the secret just as Robbie had done. Meanwhile, Flint met with Kat once again. Their meeting confirmed that their relationship was far from over and that they still loved each other. As time passed, Ben eventually divided the antidote among himself, Flint, Lonnie, and several other mutation victims. Ben then made it clear that he wanted to quit being a superhero so he could finally free himself from the enormous responsibility that had weighed on him for so long. Not long afterward, a radio broadcast reported that Silvermane's group was heading to a police warehouse to reclaim a stockpile of alcohol that had previously been confiscated during a raid. Because Ben could no longer be relied upon, Robbie decided to go there alone and stop the operation himself. Upon arriving at the police warehouse, Robbie encountered Lonnie, who was assisting with the retrieval of the alcohol. Their conversation revealed that Lonnie had joined Silvermane because he wanted to escape poverty and build a better life for himself. Meanwhile, the police officers were unwilling to interfere with Silvermane's group because the police chief had already fallen under the mobster's influence. A few minutes later, Ben arrived as the Spider and immediately attacked Lonnie in order to protect Robbie. During the fight, Ben attempted to inject Lonnie with the antidote. However, his effort failed because Lonnie's skin had become too tough to be pierced. Lonnie then threw Ben into a hard surface, knocking him unconscious. As the situation grew worse, Robbie seized the opportunity to act. Displaying tremendous courage, he successfully injected the antidote through Lonnie's eye, the only part of his body that was not protected by the mutation. However, while confronting the police officers, Ben suddenly lost his powers and was quickly subdued. Fortunately, Lonnie realized that Robbie had saved him by restoring him to his normal human form. Grateful for what had been done for him, he decided to help Ben. Lonnie successfully helped Ben and Robbie escape from the warehouse. They then carried the unconscious Ben to Robbie's apartment. There, Lonnie, whose life had been saved by the Spider, finally decided to leave his criminal past behind, make peace with himself, and pursue a better, normal life. At the same time, the mayor and Silvermane learned about the incident from their men. They were informed that Lonnie had disappeared and had been cured by the Spider. Without hesitation, Silvermane and the mayor ordered their men to find Ben, believing that he was the only person who knew the Spider's true identity.